November 23rd, 1942. The SS Ben Lomond was 750 miles east of Suriname, 13 days out from Cape Town, South Africa. The British merchant vessel was carrying a crew of 55, heading west toward Paramaribo, Dutch Guyana. In his cabin below deck, 24-year-old Poon Lim, the ship's second steward, was preparing to serve lunch. Everything was routine. But then, a sudden explosion tore through the silence. Before Lim could even react, a second massive blast erupted nearby. The impact threw him to the deck, and he lost consciousness. A second explosion followed, larger than the first. The SS Ben Lomond had been hit by 2 torpedoes from German U-boat U-172. In the below-deck passageways, sailors were panicking and running in every direction. Lim regained consciousness. He ran through the hallways, but he could barely see anyone around him. Lim kept running. Then he heard the sound of another explosion. For a moment, his mind racing, unable to understand what he should do next. Before he could react, seawater rushed into the ship, sweeping him into a dark, swirling whirlpool. The water ripped off his slippers, tangled his trousers around his legs, and made his ears pop from the pressure. His lungs burned. His head felt like it would explode. Just as he was about to lose consciousness, he tried one last time to reach the surface. Then his life jacket propelled him upward. Lim looked around. He was completely alone. The SS Ben Lomond was gone. Then, a few meters away, the German U-boat surfaced. Lim raised his hand, begging for help, as crew members climbed onto the deck. He waved desperately and shouted for help. The Germans saw him. They waved back, but it wasn't a wave of help. Luckily, they were only mocking him. They left him to die. For 2 hours, Lim drifted in the frigid Atlantic. Then he spotted something floating a few hundred feet away. He swam toward it. After swimming for 2 hours, Lim was extremely tired. He climbed onto the raft and felt a little relief. Then he found some things on the raft. Inside, Lim found standard emergency supplies. Several tins of hardtack biscuits, some chocolate, a few flares, an electric torch, and a 40-liter jug of water. He calculated that the hardtack would last about a month if he used it carefully. Many weeks passed. No ships came. The supplies he had were also running out. His supplies were disappearing faster than he had hoped. Lim had no other way out. Stranded in the endless ocean, he could only wait, and the chance that someone would find him before it was too late. Then one night, Lim lit one of his flares, hoping it might reveal land somewhere in the distance. But as the light faded, he saw nothing, only the endless emptiness of the ocean. A week went by, then 2. By the 3rd week, Lim was down to his final piece of hardtack. Apart from that, he had no food left, and no certainty of when help would come. Lim had made a decision. He would save his last piece of hardtack, not to eat, but to use as bait. He dismantled his flashlight and extracted the metal spring, bending it into a crude fishing hook. It wasn't perfect, but it was good enough to use. He added bait and waited. For several hours, he caught nothing. Time kept passing, and he began to feel that maybe this plan would not work. Then, surprisingly, the fish were attracted to the hardtack. Lim pulled on the rope. He caught small fish, but his hook was too weak and too small for anything substantial. Then Lim got an idea. He removed a nail from the raft and bent it into a stronger hook. He used the small fish as bait for bigger fish. Lim threw the bait into the water once again and waited patiently. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then it worked, but this time it was not a small fish. Lim struggled with it, but using all the strength he had, he finally pulled it up. With nothing else to do, Lim spent most of his time resting on the raft, but then seagulls began landing on the raft to rest. He was resting when he woke to find seagulls sitting right there on the raft. But he caught one of them. He never intended to do this, but he had no other option. With no way to cook the meat, he developed a process. Butcher the bird, soak the meat in seawater, then dry it under the sun to make jerky. The idea might have worked, but daylight was running out. With the sun about to set, Lim had no choice but to wait until morning. He was resting. Around the raft, sharks began to circle. He woke to find himself surrounded by circling sharks. He didn't know what to do. Then he looked at the dried seagull meat. In his dehydrated, sun-scorched state, an idea formed. He used the seagull meat as bait. He had become desperate and wanted to catch a shark. And then, a shark took the bait. But Lim couldn't hold it. Using every last ounce of his strength, Lim hauled the shark partially onto the raft. He struck the shark with full force. After hitting it many times, he killed the shark, cut it open, and drank the blood from its liver. The blood provided enough moisture to keep him alive. Lim lay back on the raft. Suddenly, he heard something. He couldn't make sense of it. He thought he might be hallucinating. So he went back to sleep. Then he heard it again. A cargo ship appeared on the horizon. Lim stood and shouted in English, waving his arms desperately, but it was too far away. Ironically, the crew saw him but didn't stop. They assumed he was a Japanese sailor and continued on. A week later, an American Navy patrol aircraft was on a routine mission. While flying over the open ocean, the crew spotted something below. They circled back, confirmed Lim's location, and dropped a marker buoy. For a moment, fear took over Lim. Then his eyes turned toward the marker buoy. Finally, someone had seen him. The thought hit him like a wave of hope. He would not die in this endless ocean. Rescue was coming. But before the ships could arrive, something else entirely was waiting for him. The winds and waves carried Lim's raft far away from the marked location and dragged him straight into a deadly storm. The massive waves threw him into a situation he had never faced before. He truly thought, "This is the end. Nothing can save me now." He tried to hold the raft pole as tightly as he could. But suddenly, a huge wave came in front of him and slammed into the raft. Lim lost his balance and was about to fall, but he grabbed another pole of the raft. The raft was thrown from side to side. Water crashed over it with the force of the waves. Lim fell again. Then another wave surged beneath him, lifting the raft upward. Somehow, he survived. But his body had no strength left to stand up again. Time lost meaning. He was slowly collapsing. He had no strength left to get up and fish or hunt seagulls. Lim's body was slowly becoming weaker and thinner. With no food and water, his strength was slowly collapsing. By this point, he had lost nearly 20 pounds. But then, something pulled Lim back to consciousness. Gathering what little strength he had left, he pushed himself up. He noticed that the color of the ocean water had changed, a possible sign that land might be nearby. He tried to focus on the horizon, but before he could be sure, he collapsed. A Brazilian fishing boat was working 9 miles off the coast of northern Brazil. Everything was going as normal. Some were fixing the fishing net, while one of them scanned the water, looking for the best place to cast it. Everything seemed ordinary. But then, one of the fishermen spotted something unusual in the distance. Hey! The others working alongside them saw it too. They steered the boat closer to get a better look. As they approached, they realized it was a raft with a man on it. They thought he might be dead, but he was alive. His body, however, had no strength left to move or speak. They lifted him onto the boat and rescued him from that place. After he recovered, they learned that he had been adrift for 133 days. Poon Lim's story wasn't just about surviving the ocean. It was about refusing to disappear. For 133 days, the sea tried to break him. Hunger, storms, sharks, and silence. But somehow, one man on a small raft held on long enough for the world to find him again. And that is why his story remains one of the most unbelievable survival stories ever recorded. Thank you for watching this journey. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. And if you have feedback, tell us in the comments. This is only our first video, and we want to make the next one even better.